At my wedding, my fiancé's former girlfriend displayed intimate pictures of the two of them on a large screen. The guests were taken aback, and I angrily confronted her. However, he dismissed her actions, saying, "Olivia is just acting immaturely. Do you really need to be so upset?" I was incredulous. His ex had spoiled my special day, and yet I struggled to contain my anger. Demonstrating his tolerance, his ex-girlfriend even physically approached me, declaring, "You mute girl. Do you dare to marry Liam? Fine, I won't marry you, but you won't have a good time either." During the wedding, the large screen abruptly showcased photos of Liam and his ex-girlfriend. Although the host quickly noticed the mistake, all the attendees saw the images. I stood on the stage and glanced at Elena, who was seated at a table wearing a white dress similar to a bride's. Overcome with rage, I walked straight up and slapped her. Liam witnessed this and forcefully pushed me aside, saying, "Olivia, she's just acting immaturely. Do you really need to be so upset?" I nearly lost my balance and couldn't fathom Liam's stance. Elena, with tears in her eyes, covered her face where I had slapped her. She whispered, "Liam, I wish you happiness. I'll manage even without you." Cherry blossom-like tears streamed down her face as she sadly fled. Liam instinctively wanted to pursue her. I called out to him, my voice cracking. The wedding had just begun, and he seemed ready to abandon me in front of everyone. Liam hesitated briefly, acknowledging the gravity of the situation, but then turned back to me and announced that the wedding would be postponed for 30 minutes. "I'll be right back," he said. I watched in disbelief as he walked away. My parents approached to console me, urging me to remain patient. However, I had a feeling Liam wouldn't return within half an hour. True to my intuition, an hour passed without any sign of him. To save face, I addressed the guests, saying, "I'm sorry, everyone. Today's event has been changed to a birthday party. It's my 25th birthday today. Please enjoy the cake. I'll return the gifts later. I hope you all have a pleasant time." I did my best to maintain dignity for both families. After the guests departed, Liam's mother left without a word. My parents were livid, and I could only comfort them in return. Once we returned to the hotel, I was utterly exhausted and couldn't help but try calling Liam. It took 6 attempts before he answered a video call. When the camera activated, Elena was present. "Liam, you need to come back quickly. The wedding is definitely in chaos, and Elena will be furious," I said. She sneered, "She's really flattering you." My heart ached and I didn't want to hear more, so I ended the call swiftly. Half an hour later, Liam called back, but I didn't answer. That night, I stayed with my parents at the hotel. After midnight, Liam incessantly called, but I silenced my phone. The next day, my parents looked at me with concern. I tried to smile and told them, "Mom and Dad, you should go back first. I'll take care of myself." My mother expressed sympathy, saying, "You've been with him for 3 years and even have a marriage certificate. We're disappointed in Liam." I hugged her and apologized for the wedding mishap, declaring, "I will divorce Liam." My parents, who had traveled from overseas for my wedding, were disheartened to see me become the subject of ridicule. Being understanding, they supported my decision to divorce, but feared I would be heartbroken and wanted to stay longer. It took some persuasion to convince them to return home. They loved me deeply, and I didn't want them to witness my pain and suffer alongside me. Upon returning home from the airport, I found Liam waiting for me. His hair was damp, and he wore a suit, looking as though he had just showered and changed clothes. "Elena, this is for you," he said, handing me a box containing a sapphire necklace. I looked at him silently, recalling how he used to give me gifts after making me angry. Previously, I enjoyed his gestures and allowed him to soothe me, but everything had changed since the previous night. "It's too expensive. I can't accept it," I responded. Liam smiled dismissively. "We are already married. What's mine is yours. Why can't you accept it?" I stared at him firmly. Finally, he conceded, "I'm sorry, my wife. I was wrong last night." He continued, "I've been with her for 6 years. She couldn't accept our marriage suddenly, and I feared she couldn't handle it. So what? You just abandoned me." I questioned him, and Liam frowned impatiently. "I've explained everything to you. What else do you want?" My heart sank. "I need an apology. That big screen yesterday, Elena must have set it up to embarrass me on purpose. I'm sure she provided the photos too. She hurt me. Shouldn't she apologize?" Liam looked displeased. "Olivia, don't be overly dramatic. I told you, Elena just doesn't understand. My heart broke at his words. There's some issue at the company, so I can't go on our honeymoon today. Let's discuss it later, he said, adjusting his suit before leaving. I didn't even have the chance to discuss the divorce with him. Liam had been my senior in college. We met through a mutual introduction by the school administration at an alumni event 3 years ago, and he actively courted me. At the time, I found him mature and thoughtful, making our relationship seem natural. Later, while casually browsing the school forum, I discovered that Liam and Elena had been a prominent couple during our school years. They dated from freshman year until their breakup 2 years post-graduation due to incompatible personalities. 6 years was a significant time, but it didn't justify Liam leaving me amidst the wedding. Realizing the situation, I mindlessly called John, Liam's assistant. Is there something wrong at the company? John seemed confused. No, Liam has arranged everything to go on our honeymoon. Okay, I see. Thanks for your help. I packed my belongings and returned home. After managing my emotions, I went back to school to work on modeling projects, keeping my phone off during this period. That evening, after finishing work, Liam appeared at my doorstep looking disheveled. As soon as we met, his face showed impatience. Olivia, can you please stop causing a scene? I calmly suggested he take the divorce papers. Liam found it amusing and taunted. Are you sure someone like me, a foreigner or a person with disabilities, can have a better life without you? He noticed the cochlear implant behind my ear, which I had used since losing my hearing due to a fever at 6 years old. Knowing about my condition from the start, Liam used to commend me for being brave and cheerful, but now he was exploiting my vulnerability, which deeply hurt me. Despite my sincere explanations that I wasn't having a tantrum, Liam remained confident, insisting I return to him as if our issues were minor and even offering to redo the wedding. His tone was condescending, as if I were inferior. I told him the truth honestly, but he didn't believe me. Mocking my lifestyle choices, Liam remarked on my simple clothing and practical canvas bags, pointing out that I never wore branded items even during our 3-year relationship. He criticized my parents' modest outfits at the wedding, making assumptions about my financial status and disability, implying my desire for divorce was merely a tantrum. I laughed at the absurdity of his statements. Growing up in China before moving back to my home country, where comfort was valued over brand names, I never cared for designer labels. I genuinely preferred practical canvas bags for their simplicity and eco-friendliness. Never expecting Liam to equate my life choices with my entire upbringing, it was almost laughable. Who says you have to be flashy just because you have money? I'll be at the office tomorrow at 9, waiting for you. We'll go to the civil affairs office together. We don't share the same life perspectives, so I won't say more, I told him as I opened the door and entered my home. As Liam tried to follow, I quickly shut the door, accidentally striking his nose. He yelled from outside, frustrated that I wasn't being reasonable, claiming he had given me an escape, yet I was still causing a scene. Leaning against the door, I listened calmly to his desperate words. Just a month ago, we were planning our honeymoon destination, examining maps, and now everything had deteriorated so badly. My phone beeped with a friend request from Elena. After accepting it, she immediately sent a message introducing herself, followed by 6 photos. The first 3 were from that day, showing Liam making noodles in the kitchen, while the other 3 were from our wedding day, depicting Liam in a suit with a flower crown, serving Elena water by the bedside. It felt grotesque, making me feel sick and repulsed. I replied, I've never seen someone so shameless as to destroy someone's marriage. Elena responded with a cute emoji, stating that Liam didn't blame me, claiming I loved him deeply and was excellent at pleasing him. She asked if I truly couldn't live without him. I curtly responded, Our relationship is none of your business. Elena then triumphantly sent another message, boasting that she could reach him with just 1 phone call. Right then, Liam's phone rang outside. He muttered something quietly, stopped knocking on the door, and quickly left to check, only for me to see his car drive away. 15 minutes later, Elena sent a photo of Liam getting out of his car and approaching her. You've been with him for 6 years, with many sweet memories. Do you really think you can hold on to his heart? Following that, Olivia posted a moment on her social media saying, After 6 years apart, the heart still flutters. The image featured a sapphire necklace, the same one Liam had given me before, which I had left on the coffee table when I left. A wave of nausea washed over me, prompting me to block both Olivia and Liam on my phone. The next day, I went to Liam's company to find him. The receptionist must have heard about the wedding incident. Her eyes filled with pity as she looked at me, but I remained composed. Liam didn't answer my calls, so I asked John to inform him that I was waiting in the lobby. 2 hours later, Liam eventually came downstairs looking weary. Upon seeing me, his impatience was clear as he remarked, "Elena, being so dramatic will only make things worse for yourself." With a straightforward attitude, I told him, "Let's get a divorce. I don't want to talk to you anymore." Many employees passed by, overhearing my declaration and perhaps feeling embarrassed. Liam agreed to the divorce. I had driven there, so I personally escorted him to the civil affairs office. The car ride was tense, and I avoided looking at him the entire time. Eventually understanding my seriousness, Liam's tone softened as he pleaded, "Wife, I know I was wrong. Please give me another chance." He reached for my hand, but I avoided his touch. His once affectionate phoenix-like eyes now looked dejected. He had been central to my future for the past 3 years, yet he had managed to hurt me profoundly. Intentionally avoiding his gaze, I ignored him. At a red light, his phone rang, and I heard Olivia's voice on the other end. His expression tightened as he glanced at me subconsciously. Suddenly, a car rear-ended us. Thankfully, the impact was minor. 2 burly men exited the other vehicle, glaring at us as they approached. Liam got out, and instead of addressing the other driver, told me, "Olivia slipped at home. I need to go check on her. You handle the other driver and then drive back on your own." He attempted to comfort me with a kiss, but I turned away coldly. He paused, gave me an annoyed look, and hurriedly ran toward the departing bus. Under the scorching summer sun, my heart grew cold. The driver from the other car, seeing me alone, brazenly demanded 50,000 yuan up front. Despite them being at fault, with their car's headlights damaged and the bumper hanging loose, I was furious at their aggressive and unreasonable behavior and insisted on calling the police. Suddenly, a bald man grabbed a large wrench from beneath a car seat and swung it at me unexpectedly. I dodged swiftly, but was forcefully pushed down by another burly man from the same vehicle. I hit the ground unprepared, feeling a sharp pain in my abdomen and warmth trickling down my leg as the wrench struck my back. The intense, dull pain mixed with the twisting agony in my abdomen blurred my consciousness. Seeing me bleeding on the ground, the responsible party panicked and fled. A kind passerby called 120 and alerted the police. At the hospital, I was informed of a threatened miscarriage. The fetus was in critical condition. To save the baby, I needed to be hospitalized immediately to protect the pregnancy. Otherwise, I would have to undergo surgery for a swift recovery. "Please arrange the surgery for me, doctor," I pleaded. On the 4th day of my hospitalization, I coincidentally met John, who mentioned that his mother needed a hysterectomy. That evening, Liam arrived at my bedside looking disheveled, and so did Olivia. "Elena, he came to apologize," he said with a guilty expression. "I'm sorry. If I hadn't left, we wouldn't have lost our child." I coldly chuckled. "Don't worry. Even without this accident, I would have terminated the pregnancy." Liam's face paled. Unable to handle my response, Olivia intervened. "Elena, you can't speak without a hearing aid. You're disabled. How can you push away a man like Liam?" I smirked, raising my eyebrows at Olivia. "You can only rise if I divorce Liam. Now you're acting like nothing happened." Olivia's face turned pale, and she fell silent. Liam regained his composure and said, "Elena, I brought Olivia here to apologize to you." He gestured to Olivia, who reluctantly muttered, "I'm sorry. It was my fault for ruining your wedding. It was all my fault." I watched with interest as they staged the apology. Over the past few days, I had learned that Liam had taken Olivia on a business trip and promoted her to his chief secretary. "Liam, I just want a dignified divorce. After all, you are the company's president. If I speak to the press about things I shouldn't, it might tarnish your image as an entrepreneur." Liam was completely taken aback by my words, a hint of disdain appearing in his eyes. "Fine, let's divorce, but don't come back begging me later," he replied. I gave a faint smile. "I will never regret it." Early the next morning, I eagerly scheduled an appointment with Liam to visit the Civil Affairs Bureau. Once we completed the procedures, I felt significantly lighter. Olivia came out of the car to greet the newly divorced Liam, radiating joy. As we parted ways, Liam turned to me. "How will you cope without me?" Once I recovered, I immersed myself in work. The mathematical modeling project for the dam, overseen by my supervisor, was nearing completion. The government was about to open it for bidding, and many companies sought to meet me and acquire the dam construction data. "Elena, one company wants to meet you. When are you available?" I replied, "The company is Liam's. I wasn't aware they were also participating in the bidding process." To save time for everyone, I instructed my assistant Jack to inform all bidding companies to meet collectively, with no private meetings accepted. The meeting was held in the conference room of the school office building. Upon arrival, all the leaders of the bidding companies were present. This dam project was substantial, estimated to cost around $4.5 billion. Companies bidding for these public service projects not only stood to earn significant profits, but also enhance their reputations. Therefore, the attendees were all top executives. Elena, Olivia, and Liam sat together in the front row. When they saw me, disdain flickered across their faces. "This isn't your place," Olivia remarked, assuming I was there to cause trouble. Liam stood up, approached me, and warned, "Elena, we are divorced now. Don't mess up my business." I chuckled. "Liam, 2 months apart, and you're still so arrogant." Liam stared at me warily. Jack approached and said, "Liam, please take a seat first. Elena will explain everything." "No private meetings will be accepted." Liam looked puzzled. Jack introduced me to everyone. "Hello, everyone. This is my PhD advisor, Elena. She is the chief engineer responsible for the mathematical modeling of this dam project and will share the relevant data with all of you." Liam and Olivia's expressions changed instantly as they stared at me in shock. I walked to the podium and began explaining the data. When the meeting concluded, Liam rushed over to me. "You're the chief modeling engineer? How old are you?" I calmly responded, "Liam, don't you know there's such a thing as a prodigy? My father is a renowned mathematician, and my mother has a great reputation in the construction industry. Influenced by them from a young age, I've had a passion for math. I skipped grades to obtain my PhD. After graduating in China, I followed my parents' advice to return to the country to work as a doctoral supervisor at a university while taking on some mathematical modeling work. Perhaps my lifelong passion for mathematics made Liam my first love. With no experience in love, I failed to notice Liam's various neglects in our relationship. He never inquired about my family background, never cared about my work, and never involved me in his social circle. Looking back now, the sweetness was actually paired with indifference. Fortunately, I have nothing to do with him anymore. I turned and walked away. From behind, Olivia questioned, "She must be faking it." "Is she merely 25 years old? She's several years our junior. Who is she attempting to deceive?" To honor the successful completion of my project, the school administrators organized an evening dinner. By chance, I encountered Liam there. He was impeccably dressed, accompanying a group of distinguished individuals. Upon noticing the school leaders, he approached our table to greet us, visibly surprised to see me present. The same school leader who had previously introduced me to Liam was also in attendance. As Liam took his seat, the school leader began a conversation. "Liam, I'm familiar with Elena. She's an exceptionally talented young woman. I've introduced her to you with high expectations. You two have been together for 3 years, and I was pleased to see your relationship flourishing. However, I didn't anticipate you feeling uncertain at the wedding. Are you aware that she's actually a PhD lecturer employed by the school with a substantial salary?" Liam appeared perplexed. "She's so young. I always assumed she was just an exchange student." The school leader frowned. "Who mentioned she was an exchange student? She's an expert in mathematical modeling, has developed numerous projects, holds several patents that could sustain her for lifetimes, and both of her parents are esteemed professors." Liam's expression was one of disbelief. Meanwhile, I felt belittled, as Liam seemed to believe I was lacking and must be academically mediocre due to my simple attire, assuming I was a disadvantaged exchange student. "Teacher, Liam and I are no longer together. Let's not dwell on the past," I responded. At the end of the evening, Liam insisted on driving me home. Politely, I declined and opted for a taxi instead. However, when I arrived home, Liam was already there, waiting at my doorstep. "Honey?" He greeted me as if forgetting we were divorced. I looked at him composedly, teasing him with a faint smile. "Liam, we are divorced." He attempted to hold my hand, but I evaded it as if avoiding germs. "Honey, I regret it. I can't seem to move on from you in these 2 months. Can we reconcile?" I found his persistence amusing. When we divorced, he had claimed I would regret it. Now it seemed he was the one regretting. Whether his emotions were genuine or he had hidden intentions, I could no longer discern. Moreover, I had no desire to find out. I had no plans to turn back and firmly rejected him. In the days that followed, Liam continued to appear in my life frequently. While I was conducting experiments in the lab, he would wait outside with flowers. During my lectures, he would sit quietly like a submissive student, watching me intently. He even showed up at my house in the mornings with breakfast. His relentless presence became irritating. When Liam approached me once more, I confronted him head-on. "I won't interfere in the bidding process. It's entirely up to the company's strength." Liam's expression faltered. "Elena, I truly regret it, and it's unrelated to the bidding." After a brief pause, I looked up with a calm yet determined gaze. "But I don't love you anymore." Liam's eyes darkened, and he didn't visit me that day. However, later that night, I received an unfamiliar call. Olivia was crying on the phone, requesting that I pick up Liam from a bar and take him home. Finding it odd, I hung up immediately. The following day, Olivia visited the school to find me. She pressured me, implying that I could easily influence the bidding process through my connections, and suggested I should help Liam because of our past relationship. Feeling powerless, I left as it was time for my class. In a desperate attempt, Olivia warned me that I would regret not assisting. I paused, turned to face her, and seeing the bitterness in her beautiful face, I smiled. Knowing they were determined to complicate my life, I decided to take the initiative. Before entering the classroom, I uploaded the conversations Olivia had sent me online, along with photos of her and Liam. By acting quickly, I not only debunked the rumors she spread, but also exposed both her and Liam. This move made it unlikely for them to participate in the bidding process. Soon, the school was preparing to celebrate its anniversary. Following Jack's advice, I purchased some elegant clothes from the mall. On the day of the celebration, I wore a formal white evening gown and joined my fellow alumni for a joyful evening. A figure approached me, and Liam's eyes met mine intensely. "Elena, you look stunning," he complimented. I raised an eyebrow in response. I knew I wasn't unattractive. I simply didn't prioritize grooming or makeup. Liam's demeanor softened slightly as he explained that Olivia had spread the rumors without his knowledge. I shrugged indifferently, saying, "Doesn't matter, I still managed to get back at you all." Olivia had posted on the school forum that I had abandoned my fiancé of 3 years after achieving success, exploiting him and misusing his money. In retaliation, I exposed her involvement in sabotaging my wedding and Liam's affair. Jack also shared my accomplishments to demonstrate that I was successful before meeting Liam and had substantial savings beforehand. I had evidence, including photos of them staying at a hotel during the same dates I was hospitalized for a miscarriage. This move silenced the toxic pair. Liam looked remorseful, asking if we could reconcile. I feigned surprise, recalling how he had professed his deep love for Olivia over 6 years. "You regret it, Liam. Can you give me another chance?" He was a young man with deep, expressive eyes and bright features that still held a hint of childishness. "It's you," I responded calmly. "I'm surprised, Elena," he exclaimed excitedly. The school leaders exchanged glances and asked, "Elena, do you know Daniel?" I smiled at Daniel. We had actually met during our teenage years. My parents felt that my math progress at the current school was sluggish, so they sent me to a tutoring class in China during winter and summer breaks. We met there and later reunited at an international Olympiad math competition. After that, my busy doctoral projects caused us to lose contact. Daniel was thrilled to see me approaching and gave me a tight hug. It was wonderful to see him. The school leaders were right. Daniel was indeed an exceptional student. While we chatted and enjoyed ourselves, Liam, who had been standing nearby, wore a grim expression. But no one paid him any attention. Since I had posted the incident involving him and Olivia on the forum, his reputation had plummeted. Even teachers who had once been proud of him denied ever teaching him, including the school leaders. Liam seemed eager to join our conversation, but since Daniel and I were discussing math problems, he couldn't contribute. After some time, Olivia, all dressed up, came to find Liam, but he avoided her with a stern expression. When the event concluded, Daniel remained unsatisfied, repeatedly asking for my phone number. "Worried, Elena? You won't suddenly lose contact with me this time, will you?" I shook my head. "I'm currently employed at a university, have signed a contract, and won't be leaving for 5 years." Realizing his excessive enthusiasm, Daniel smiled apologetically. "We'll meet tomorrow." Later, I discovered that Daniel had applied to teach at a university and became my colleague. He even rented the house across from mine, becoming my neighbor. I'm not skilled at cooking, so naturally he began preparing meals for me daily. Gradually, apart from work, we became almost inseparable. Although I'm not foolish, I could sense his feelings. I had just ended a previous relationship and didn't want to rush into a new one so soon. Fortunately, Daniel never brought it up, instead discussing math problems with me each day. I enjoyed this routine, but Liam continued to linger around. The one corporation lost its qualification to participate in the bidding for the troublesome project, which deeply affected Liam. I heard from colleagues that he spent a week drinking at a bar and even broke up with Olivia. I'm a straightforward person. Since he's divorced, I don't care about his affairs. I just want to concentrate on my research. However, beneath the calm exterior, tensions were rising. One day, while exiting the elevator as usual, a man in a gray jacket suddenly approached me with a long knife. I instinctively dodged, frantically moving left and right in the narrow space. "It's all your fault. You took my place." I recognized him as one of the PhD candidates hired alongside me. He had studied at MIT and worked on mathematical modeling at a university. However, the school leaders claimed he lacked creativity and couldn't handle the modeling work. "You idiot! Go to hell!" He swung the knife at me again, this time cutting my arm, causing blood to gush out. I called for help, but no one was around. As he swung the knife a third time towards my head, a man in a suit rushed over and pushed him aside. "Elena, run!" For a moment, I was stunned. The attacker's eyes were bloodshot as he struggled violently with Liam. I saw the janitor appear at the elevator entrance, rushing out with a mop to strike the assailant. The attacker turned back, glaring at me with murderous eyes, as if he wanted to devour me. Liam held him tightly, preventing him from breaking free to harm me. Suddenly, the chilling sound of the knife entering Liam's abdomen made my hair stand on end. Blood started oozing from the corner of Liam's mouth, but he still smiled at me. My blood ran cold, almost forgetting the immediate danger. Thankfully, the school security guards arrived swiftly and halted the attacker's rampage. While waiting for the ambulance, I pressed on Liam's wound. "Liam, don't die, please!" He weakly squeezed my hand, his eyes locked on mine. "Elena, can you forgive me?" I replied calmly. "You can only earn my forgiveness by staying alive." Liam was rushed to the hospital for emergency treatment, and the PhD candidate was arrested by the police. When Daniel arrived, I was standing in front of the operating room, covered in blood. "Your arm." I glanced at the bandaged arm, already disinfected and stitched. "It's okay." Daniel stared at me with concern, his gaze fixed on the lit-up operating room anxiously. After 5 long hours, the exhausted doctor emerged, saying that the patient's will to survive was still present. As long as the critical 24-hour period passed safely, everything would be fine. Daniel and I both sighed in relief. Just as we were about to leave after arranging for a caregiver, John and Olivia rushed over. Upon seeing me, Olivia attempted to approach and slap me, but Daniel stopped her by grabbing her wrist. Olivia screamed in anger. "You witch! Isn't Liam suffering enough because of you? He risked his life for you, and you want to leave just like that? Nothing in this world comes that easily." I watched Olivia lose her composure and motioned for Daniel to leave with me. Daniel pushed Olivia away and quickly caught up with me on the way back. He hesitated to speak, so I knew what he wanted to ask. "Will I go back to Liam after he risked his life to save me?" I shook my head firmly. I wouldn't be so old-fashioned as to think I owe my life to Liam after he saved me. There are many ways to repay kindness, and I won't choose one that makes me uncomfortable. Back home, Daniel helped me wash since I couldn't move my arm, handling most of the cleaning himself. His face was red the entire time, making him quite endearing. Enduring the 24 hours was tough. But when we learned that Liam had regained consciousness, Daniel and I went to the hospital to visit him together. Liam's face paled even more upon seeing Daniel and me together. I approached his bedside and told him that he shouldn't feel obligated to repay the favor, or I would despise him. With that, I shattered all of Liam's illusions. This time, he had saved me, compensating for all the harm he had previously caused. Evening out our score. Hatred can be mentally exhausting, and I don't want to waste my energy on someone who doesn't deserve it. The moment you can leave on your own will be the moment I forgive you. Liam listened silently and didn't respond. After conveying what needed to be said, I left with Daniel. 2 weeks later, when Liam was discharged, I personally went to pick him up. He was still living in the apartment he had prepared beforehand, unchanged, with some of the figurines I had bought still displayed in their original spots, and that sapphire necklace remained on the coffee table. Seeing my gaze land on the necklace, Liam recalled something and explained that the necklace he gave Olivia was a replica, not the same as this one. I smiled calmly at him and suggested it was best to leave the past behind. Liam struggled to find words and sat down on the sofa where my pink throw pillow still lay. I called a housekeeper for him, instructing her to let him rest at home until he fully recovered. The housekeeper arrived, so I left. As I was about to depart, Liam called out, "Elena, you know, right?" I looked at him calmly and said, "I know." The PhD student, who had recently joined the university, considered himself extraordinary, felt frustrated, and was influenced by Olivia. He blamed everything on me, plotting to kill me through words and drugs. Liam nodded expressionlessly and apologized for underestimating Olivia's malice, saying he was sorry. After a brief silence, in a pained tone, he admitted that the danger I faced was a result of his lingering attachment to Olivia, causing her to hate me so intensely. It was my dangerous liaison that led us here. With that, he bowed his head. "I'm sorry, Elena." I glanced out the door and saw it was raining. Daniel stood outside holding an umbrella, waiting for me in the downpour. I told Liam that Daniel was waiting for me, bid him farewell, and ran into the rain without looking back, determined to move forward. Shortly after I arrived home, John called to inform me that Liam had disobeyed the doctor's orders and gone to the company. I chuckled, knowing he was an adult who could take responsibility for his actions. John hung up without saying more. Daniel brought me a cup of ginger tea, saying, "Drink this to prevent catching a cold." After sipping the tea, I showed Daniel the invitation I had received to the Hodgkin's conjecture seminar and asked if he wanted to attend. Daniel chuckled and replied, "I received an invitation too. We'll go together." While Liam was diligently working for his company, Daniel and I delved deeper into the world of mathematics. 2 years later, when my contract with the university concluded, Daniel nervously asked if I would stay for him. I nodded, agreeing to remain. Daniel and I didn't have a tumultuous romance. Everything flowed smoothly. He truly suited me perfectly. The dark clouds of the past had finally cleared, and no one would exploit my vulnerabilities to harm me again. Liam was an exception. When I first met Elena, she seemed like a celestial fairy, with pristine features and innocent eyes. Who wouldn't want a romantic relationship with such a pure girl? I began pursuing her passionately, feeling that she was experiencing love for the first time, displaying all her joy on her face. She sought a relationship with me with the intention of marriage. After we married, I unknowingly became more unrestrained. It was during the wedding that I made a wrong decision. I thought her naive and gentle nature meant she would quietly wait for me at home. When I returned and noticed her changed demeanor, I didn't worry too much. I believed she would remain obediently at home. I even thought her mention of divorce was just a tantrum. So, when Olivia called, I left Elena alone to handle the consequences. Olivia wasn't lying. She had slipped in the shower at home. When I found her, she was still lying there, unable to move, with bruised legs. I carried her to bed, and she tried to embrace me, but I pushed her away rationally. She looked at me wistfully, asking, "Liam, do you not love me anymore?" I coldly replied, "I stopped loving you the moment you left me." Olivia cried with sorrow. "I come from a humble background. My father is a vegetable vendor, and my mother is just a regular housewife. I've achieved everything on my own through hard work. During the early days of my entrepreneurship, Olivia saw me struggling without any money, living in a basement, and eating plain buns with pickled vegetables. She couldn't endure 3 months of such life with me and decided to break up. At my lowest point, she left me. I heard from classmates that she only came back after being dumped by her wealthy boyfriend. Driven by vanity, I wanted to show her how well I was doing now, not just in my career, but also with my loving wife. I arrogantly took her on a business trip. That night, while I was drunk and asleep, she ended up in my bed. Something that shouldn't have happened did. Feeling anxious, I received a call from John, informing me that Elena had a miscarriage and was hospitalized. I learned about the ordeal she endured the day I left her. I saw her in the hospital, her complexion pale. I brought Olivia to apologize to her, but it seemed to backfire. I could feel Elena slipping away from me. After the divorce, the school leader informed me about her excellence, making me realize my own shallowness and arrogance all along. Despite having a hearing impairment, she never felt inferior and lived brightly. On the other hand, I disgracefully tried to undermine her confidence, using it to make her dependent on me. The truth proved that I was the fool. I gave Olivia money to stop her from bothering me, but she wasn't willing to let go. Instead, she blamed Elena for my indifference and secretly incited a mentally unstable doctor to harm Elena. Fortunately, I saved her life. Elena said that the moment she forgave me would be when I recovered and stepped into the one again. The day she left the hospital after she departed, I rushed to the one as quickly as possible. "Elena, have you forgiven me?" When Olivia was sentenced, I went to see her for the last time. Elena was with Daniel, and they were a perfect match. Olivia paused for a moment, then erupted into uncontrollable laughter, saying, "Good, so good. If I can't be happy, neither can you." I looked at her coldly. "You are twisted. Spend the rest of your life in prison and face the consequences." Olivia's face contorted with anger as she cursed me. Later, I heard that Elena had given birth to a daughter who resembled Daniel. I thought to myself, she's probably another academic genius.